Let me start off with a word of thanks to the Union of Ex-Political Prisoners of Cuba for allowing me to use their sacred place to mark today's history. The pictures of those who were jailed and beaten and tortured and killed remind us of what Fidel Castro's legacy is truly all about. Today I woke up to hundreds of emails and texts from friends and supporters who know of my lifetime of work for democracy and human rights for the Cuban people and of my fight against the Castro regime. And they all expressed joy at the death of Fidel Castro, and I understand what they meant. But today I find no real joy. Too many families have been torn apart, too many killed and imprisoned, too many tortured, too many hungry, a nation destroyed, and millions enslaved. And a Castro still rules 11 million Cubans with an iron fist. Time has made Americans numb to those harsh realities. But for the people of Cuba, they are the nightmare they live every day. Time weakened our resolve, and so the Obama administration 2 years ago made enormous one-sided concessions to the Castro regime only to see 2 years of greater repression instead of greater freedom. Since the December 17, 2014 announcement of President Obama, political repression in Cuba is at a historic high. The number of Cubans fleeing Cuba has risen to levels not seen since the 1994 Flight of Rafters. Violations of religious freedom have increased tenfold, and the small private sector businesses promised under reform have turned negative. So the passing of Fidel Castro is a historic time for the United States to recalibrate its policy towards the Castro regime. Instead of condoning the continuation of a repressive regime simply because it's been around long enough, the United States and the international community must stand up and support the Cuban people, support democracy activists, independent journalists, and human rights leaders, as we did with Lech Walesa in Poland, as we did with Václav Havel in the Czech Republic, as we did with Soviet Jewry in the former Soviet Union. We need to stop the economic lifeline the Obama administration has given the Castro regime through a flood of U.S. dollars and lowered restrictions. And we need to say to Raul Castro what we said to Burma, no less. Release all political prisoners. Hold free elections. Permit a free press. Let the UN Commission on Human Rights enter the country. And then you can have a relationship with the United States. For those who think that Raul Castro is a more gentle man than his brother, know this. Raul Castro has more blood on his hands than Fidel did. He is the leader of the military and security apparatus that has oppressed, tortured, and killed for over 5 decades. In his famous courtroom speech, Fidel Castro said, "History will absolve me." Well, no, Fidel. History will condemn you, and it will condemn us if we do not help the Cuban people.